Right then, you lot, ever pumped up a tire? Used a can of compressed air to clean your keyboard? You've used a compressor. Basically, these mechanical marvels take a gas, usually air, and squeeze it into a smaller space, like stuffing a week's worth of laundry into a Ryanair carry-on. But why bother squeezing air? Because believe it or not, compressed air is incredibly useful. It powers tools, inflates things, even helps run engines. On a ship, it's even more crucial. Think of a ship like a floating city. It needs all sorts of systems to keep things running smoothly. That's where compressors come in. They're like the unsung heroes, beavering away behind the scenes to make sure everything from engines to ballast tanks are shipshape. Now let's dive into how these bad boys actually work. Imagine a bicycle pump. You push down on the handle and air gets forced into the tire, right? That's a compressor in its simplest form. Most compressors on ships use a slightly more sophisticated version of this principle. They use something called positive displacement. Sounds complicated, but it's really not. Basically, the compressor has a chamber and a moving part, usually a piston, that reduces the volume of the chamber. As the volume shrinks, the air inside gets squeezed, increasing its pressure. It's like when you sit on your suitcase to make it close, except with a lot more force. Now let's talk about the bits and bobs that make a compressor tick. Don't worry, we won't get too technical. First up, the piston. This is the workhorse, moving back and forth inside the cylinder to compress the air. The cylinder is like the piston's house, providing a snug fit for it to slide up and down. Then we have the valves, an inlet valve and an outlet valve. The inlet valve lets air into the cylinder, while the outlet valve, you guessed it, lets the compressed air out. These valves are crucial for controlling the flow of air and ensuring it goes in the right direction. Think of them as bouncers at a nightclub, only letting the right stuff in and out. Section 4, compressors aboard. Why ships can't live without them. So we know compressors squeeze air, but why is this so important on a ship? Well, for starters, ships use compressed air for a whole host of things. It powers pneumatic tools for maintenance and repairs, inflates life rafts and escape chutes in an emergency, and even helps start the main engine. Compressed air is also used in ballast tanks to adjust the ship's buoyancy. By pumping air into or out of these tanks, the crew can control how high or low the ship sits in the water. And let's not forget about cargo ships. Many tankers use compressed air to push cargo like oil and gas out of their tanks. Without compressors, these ships would be dead in the water, literally. Section 5. Different strokes for different folks. Types of compressors on vessels. Just like there are different cars for different purposes. You wouldn't take a Mini Cooper on a rally raid, would you? There are different types of compressors for different jobs on a ship. The most common type is the reciprocating compressor, which we've been talking about so far. These are like the reliable old Land Rovers of the compressor world, simple, sturdy, and get the job done. Then there are rotary screw compressors, which are more compact and efficient. These are like sleek sports cars, faster and smoother, but maybe not as rugged. And for really big jobs, you have centrifugal compressors, which are like the juggernauts of the compressor world, capable of moving massive amounts of air. Section 6. In conclusion, little boxes of wonder. So there you have it, compressors in a nutshell. They may not be the most glamorous pieces of equipment on a ship, but they're absolutely essential. These little boxes of wonder keep things running smoothly, from powering tools to controlling buoyancy. Next time you're on a ship, take a moment to appreciate the humble compressor. It's working hard behind the scenes to make your journey safe and comfortable. And that, my friends, is something worth tooting the horn for. The